Good morning everyone. Today we're going to learn how to conjugate regular ER verbs in French. Let's get started. The first thing you're going to have to do when you're conjugating regular ER verbs in French is finding what we call the stem. Now, regular ER verbs come in their infinitive form. So for example, that's where we see here the verb parler. See how it ends in ER, which means to speak. This is what we call the infinitive because the ER is still on the end. To get the stem, what we have to do is cut off the ER, and then we have our stem. So for example, with parler, we cut off the ER at the end, and then our stem will be parle. Now we've figured out what to do with the stem, we need to know which subject pronouns we're going to be using. In French, we have a range of different subject pronouns. So we start off with je, which means I, tu, which means you, and we use tu when we're talking to a singular individual, so one individual, or we're talking informally, say to friends or family. Il, which means he. Elle, which means she. We have on, which either means one or it's an informal way of saying we. We have nous, which is a formal way of saying we. Vous, which means you, and we use vous when we are talking about a group of people, or we're speaking formally, for example, to someone we don't know very well. Il, which means they, and we use il when we're talking about a mixed group of people or a group that's entirely made up of men. And finally, elle, which also means they, but we only use elle when it's a group of women only. Now we've figured out what the different subject pronouns are, it's time to start using them and conjugating our ER verb effectively. So let's start with je. Now, the correct ending for je with an ER verb is an E on the end. So we'll have je parle. Notice how here I have got the stem of P-A-R-L because I cut off the ER from the end of parler, and then I'm adding an E onto the end of that. So je parle. Now we've looked at je, we're going to look at how we conjugate an ER verb with the tu form. So with tu, what we do is we add es on the end. So it'll be tu parle. See here again what we've done is we've used our stem of P-A-R-L and then we've added es to go with tu. Next, we're going to figure out how to use ER verbs with the il, elle and on form. So with il, elle and on, we just add an E. It's the same as the je form. So it will be il parle, elle parle, or on parle, where we just have an E on the end. Now we're moving on to some of the slightly trickier formations of the verb. However, these formations will be used across many verbs, so it's really important to learn them now. So when we're talking about nous, remember nous means we add an ONS on the end. So it'll be nous parlons. We have our stem and then we add ONS. Next, we're going to be looking at the vous form with an ER verb. So with vous, we add EZ onto the end. So for example, we have vous parlez. Finally, we've got il and elle. So remember, il and elle means they in French. With il and elle, we add ENT onto the end. So it'll be il parle, elle parle. Notice that I'm not actually emphasizing the N and the T because they are silent. So il parle and elle parle sounds the same as je parle. And there you have it. Voila! You now know how to conjugate regular ER verbs in the present tense in French. I look forward to seeing how you use your new skills in class. Bonne journée. Have a good day.